I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers! You are watching the Grace and Frankie After Show at AfterBuzz TV. We are going to be breaking down Season 6, Episode 9 through 11. This has been an incredible season. Mm-hmm. I'm Emily May, your host for today. And to my left, I have Kittie KaBoom, who is like the ultimate Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin fan.
I really am. I love them so much together. They're awesome.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, baby. It's good to be here with you.
We did the Golden Globes together.
We did.
We're like best friends right now.
As close to as you can possibly get.
Yeah, so these 3 episodes have been so much fun. We have love interest coming out.
Yeah.
We have DNA tests. Mm-hmm. We have spa drama. We have business drama. We have Brianna and Barry making big decisions.
Yes.
There's a lot of relationships changing. It has been really an incredible 3 episodes. So we're going to break down the big moments. First, we're going to start with this big DNA test.
Yeah.
So Allison and Bud, they have a little girl.
They do. And she's gorgeous.
And beautiful. And they decide, actually, Allison.
They didn't decide.
They didn't decide. Allison
yes.
and Sol decide to take a DNA test behind Bud's back.
So, to be fair, Allison decides to spearhead this effort.
Yes.
And then, of course, Bud's dad gets involved later after he learns of Allison having already done it. Because it was like, oh, should I do this? And then everybody's like, it's probably not a good idea. And she's like, oh, well, it's done. And he's like, oh, it's done? Okay, well, then I'm on board. And I love that dynamic between them because it was first like, well, I know my son and it probably wouldn't. Oh, it's going down anyway? All right, let's do it.
Well, I love how it was kind of like a bonding moment for them.
It kind of was.
But I also feel like Allison shouldn't be doing that. It's kind of like behind someone's back. It's a privacy issue.
Which is so ridiculous. For her reasoning is just not even, like if she thought he was sick, if there was something that was major that could be affected by the outcome of this test, then okay. But you think your daughter might have like superpowers or be an athlete or be super smart.
Your kid could be an Olympic athlete. It could happen.
But that is not a reason to swap my spit without my consent. Sorry, wife. That's not okay.
So what do you think about this reveal later of like actually finding a match? And I know people have done this in real life.
Yeah,
where they do the 23andMe, they do the Ancestry.com, and they find these long lost relatives.
Right, and then they decide
to meet them.
Yeah, and like make it a thing.
So what do you think about Bud meeting his cousin?
I think that he was roped into it, and he clearly was not comfortable with it, but he went along with it anyway because they had already set it up. And the fact that this man asked him such an off-the-wall request, this is TV, people. Let's just be clear. Because if this happened in real life, there's no way that I personally would be like, oh, that's what you need? That's a kidney? Baby, I got you. You my cousin. Well, I don't know you. You're like, not getting my kidney.
You have to have dinner first. You have to actually build a relationship.
That actually happened to me.
I've personally had I won't get into it, but I've had family, found long lost family through these DNA tests. And so
really?
It is a thing that happens, and so I felt that this was a really relatable storyline.
Definitely,
I think it worked.
Most of their storylines are though, and that's what makes it so funny.
It was an authentic moment, but the one thing with Bud trying to like totally be on board with this whole kidney thing.
It's just ridiculous.
That I felt wasn't realistic.
Of course it wasn't realistic. There's no way. He's like meeting the guy today and then tomorrow he's giving up a kidney. Give me a break. I mean, it was a good thing for Bud's character because we know how he gets down and he's so anal, and like the fact that he allowed himself to just kind of go with the flow and see where this takes us. Well, and then make himself like the hero. That was the best.
It's totally like Bud is very to the rule book.
Oh, yeah.
He's very wants to follow, everything to a T. So for him to branch out and for him to put himself out there, I think that shows that he's transitioning and kind of growing as a person. I don't know
if it's a transition so much as it was just like a whole lot of family pressure. Like, you have to do this. I mean, we found him. There's no going back. Actually, there is. We can just tell him no thank you and keep it moving. He doesn't know where we live. He can't just show up, if that's not what we want. So in real life, I think there would have been way more discussion involved. But I do like the fact that he went with the flow, and that says a lot about the direction that they're probably taking that character in.
Yeah, I mean, he's growing as a father. He's growing as a son. So
it was pretty ridiculous. But it was cute to watch.
So another big moment in these episodes. So Frankie has been juggling Jacob and Jack.
Oh,
and this,
I love her so much.
This Jack the deadhead and Jacob the
former
the
lover.
farmer.
Yeah, the farmer. That's a good one. Yes.
What do you think about this love triangle?
I think that men do it all the damn time. So there should be no side eyes when it comes to this topic. If anybody tries to hate on this, don't even try it, because men do this all. And women too. We should be able to allow to date. The problem was that she wasn't honest with the two of them and said, listen, I like you both. This guy shows up out of nowhere. I've always loved him, and we had to part ways because of this, that, and the third. But clearly he's made an effort to come back into my life. And I'm not going to lie, like, I kind of want to see where that goes. So being honest with the two of them would have led to such a cute little Frankie being in charge. Not that she ever is not, but sometimes she thinks she's more in charge than she is. So her kind of running her life to that degree, I thought it was, even as ridiculous as it is, it's still a step up for Frankie.
Yeah.
She just needed to be transparent.
I know. So I love Frankie, and I love that I have always loved her and Jacob. And so for him to return in these last few episodes,
yes,
was so excited, but I was like, oh, I love this. But I was also upset with Frankie because
she lied.
Like you said, she should have been transparent.
Yeah.
She should, like, they're at that age where you're adults. You're grown adults.
You're
adults.
Yeah.
You should be able to say, hey, I really like this person. I really like that person.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try to figure it out?
Exactly.
And, she should have just been open with it, especially with Jacob, like, driving in from Santa Fe.
Right.
She
He's like,
should
I'm
have
not going home tonight.
Right there, she should have said, hey, I'm, obviously they were on a double date, so she should have just been open. So I feel bad that these two men are getting hurt because Frankie wants to have
Were
a
they
little
really
fun.
hurt? Jacob probably was more hurt than Jack, because Jack just came on the scene.
Yeah, well, Jacob has such a history with Frankie.
Exactly.
They've been through so much, and
That's
so again,
exactly
he is gonna be hurt.
Yeah,
and and they would have, Frankie was going to move away with him, but decided to stay.
Remember, she left and then came back.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they have a lot of history, as you said. They know each other really well, but she clearly has a connection with this Jack guy, and they could have been a thing. And I think it was a cute thing that was seeming to happen. And the fact that they were able to, Frankie and Grace, usually when they come up with their shenanigans, they fall apart. But this time, the guys actually did like each other, and they did connect. And so it could have been a thing. So all she had to do is, I just was really disappointed in her. But I think that she takes everything so lighthearted. Like, come on, guys, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And they both marched off like, this one. But he expected it. Like, he knows her so well by now. Yeah. I think Jack was probably more the pissed, as he should have been. He's walking around in a woman's robe.
I know, he was so embarrassed.
In the middle of the afternoon, and she's like, "Oh, my bad."
Well, and I'm really surprised Jack even stayed around because of Robert and Sol and the history there.
Right.
I'm just really surprised he was even in the picture still.
He came around. He got himself together. He checked his emotions at the door. I mean, he did do therapy, girl. He was literally in, like, not just outpatient, it appears. He was like inpatient therapy, pretty intense.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of time to work that out. And obviously it threw him into a tizzy when he first learned of it. But then he was man enough and mature enough to come back and be like, you know what? I probably overreacted and I really like you. So let's see where this goes.
True. I could see that Jack has grown, but I feel like Jacob, I'm on Jacob's team.
I was about to say, what team are you
I'm on Jacob's team.
Okay.
Because they have a longer history.
And you like them together.
And I like them together.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get to this discussion point later, but they were talking about Grace and Frankie got interest to go on Shark Tank for their toilet invention, their Rise Up.
Their Rise Up,
So
girl.
that's kind of like mentioned in this episode.
It's talked about quite a bit.
And so again, they're like debating whether they're going to go on Shark Tank or like audition for it.
Well, it wasn't really a debate initially because, as you know, Grace is way too classy to be involved in a reality show, darling. And so she shut it down.
No.
Right,
Yeah.
like that's not happening.
Yeah, she's like, Shark Tank, no way.
Exactly, but ironically, who brought them together and gave them a different point of view and kind of helped them shift their paradigm. Well, Frank was always on board, but Grace giving her like a different set of eyes, right? And an impartial, unbiased, I'm on the outside looking in. I think you should do this because of this, that, and the third. Who did that? Do you remember?
It was the ex-wife.
I love that. I
The ex-wife,
absolutely love that.
Nick's ex-wife came
Yes.
to the rescue.
As she does.
And said,
it appears.
hey, this is a good idea. You need to tell this story.
Right. And then let's run it through and see how it would go. And
yeah.
then they did. And she was like, I'm out. Well, what will keep you in? Like, so they literally moved forward with the idea once she came on board. And I love that.
And I like how Grace was completely like shut down at first
Yeah.
to the idea.
Yeah,
and then when she finally opened up and to Miriam, I believe, and said, hey, this is my true story. This is exactly what I had to go through. And
Miriam
this
was
is
like,
why I created Rise Up.
Yeah.
She was like, you need to tell that story.
You have to tell that story.
Because
That's
it makes
what's going
it
to
real
sell.
and makes it authentic,
Exactly.
and people will buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little juicier later.
Yeah. And then when you think about it, Frankie was the one that spearheaded their first idea. Lube, are you kidding me? She got that from Yams.
Yeah.
And then prior to that,
And
the
then the
vibrator
vibrators,
situation.
yeah.
But you know Grace was not about to walk in there talking about, so we've invented something that helps us masturbate. Never would she say that, right? But Frankie allowed her, showed her a different side to it.
Exactly.
Helped her once again shift her paradigm.
And Grace is such a businesswoman, and so for her to support Frankie and say, hey, we can do this. This is a valuable product, and you know, people would buy it. And so she put like her business power behind it. And so
I think that's what helps her to make those ideas.
Yeah, I like seeing that powerful woman take charge and say, hey, we're gonna make this, we're gonna make it happen.
And that's why they work so well together. Because Grace is the brain. She does stay focused. She knows what the bottom line is, which is always the money. How can we profit from this? How can we help people? Yes. But this is a business, right? And Frankie's always the woo-woo, you know, but it'll be fun and we'll get to do things. And, you know,
she always brings out her capes and her really like fun outfits, which I would wear all the time.
Her momos are too much.
I would like with the jewels and like the feathers, and I'm down. I'm totally down for that. I'm here for it.
Okay.
I will. Maybe this next season, I'm gonna wear everything.
Oh God! And you coming on, and I would be in a business suit every time.
Yes.
Hair coiffed just so.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make that style happen.
See if people can guess who's who.
I think they will be able to. So another big moment in these episodes, we have the ladies. Grace and Mallory and Briana, they all go to a spa day. Right. And we're like, oh, okay, they're all hanging out, getting along.
Which is rare, because, she doesn't spend too much time with her kids.
Yeah. And then they realize that Grace stole a scent from way back in the day when she created her company, from another organic scent company, lotion, cosmetic company.
I just can't believe they didn't notice this before now. Say Grace has been in production for quite a long time.
For quite a while, yeah. So what's interesting is the way that that she figured out that she actually stole it, because they were conversing with the lawyer.
Right.
And she's like, oh yeah, I was, drinking and at the beach, and then she realizes she falls asleep on the table,
and that's
what she smells.
Right.
And then Mallory did her little research of like staying at the hotel and learning that it's all over the linen.
She's like, well, I was drunk. Every time they tell her,
I know.
She's
so
like,
they keep saying,
well,
I was drinking. Right. And so it kind of reveals. I mean, we all know that Grace likes her martinis.
Vodka, baby. She loves her vodka.
So the fact that she is like realizing, oh wow, all this stuff kind of piles up. So what do you think about this whole situation and like them confronting the CEO of the other organics company?
I thought it was I love the woman that plays that. I'm so sorry I didn't do my research beforehand, but her name escapes me. She is one of my favorites. I just love her comedic delivery. And she did not disappoint. She pulls out an AA chip. Yeah. She basically puts it on the table like, listen, you said some really, really horrible, very unprofessional things to me. Yeah. And if you don't want me to take you to the cleaners and sue the mess out of you, because now that this has come to light, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because you're nasty and rude.
Left a really horrible message on her voicemail.
So she took her up on, she was like, I'm going to go through with this. If, after having shared with me that you're having issues struggling with sobriety, if you decide to join AA, if you sell your company based on these numbers, maybe I'll let it go. Maybe I'll, let you rock.
Yeah.
And so it was something to consider. Obviously, they shut it down initially, but only And only did they decide to sell it when they saw those big numbers.
Exactly. Well, we don't even really know how much it was.
Whatever
but
it
Brianna
was,
said
Brianna
yes
said,
right away.
Sold. Thank you very much.
Would you sell a company like that? Because Brianna runs the company now.
Yeah, now she does.
So now she does. So would you sell it? If you were in that situation?
I
if
don't
you were
think
kind of
that-
in a bind?
First of all, I wouldn't make a decision like that without my mom. Because at the end of the day, she literally handed me this company. She said,
She built it and then handed it over.
Absolutely. And I can't say I'm my mama's girl necessarily, but I respect my mother enough to know that's nothing I would move forward with without a discussion first.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Brianna is so independent, and she's like such a mix of grace.
Yeah. And who?
And not Robert. Well, maybe the viciousness of a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, maybe
I think she
where
definitely has those
viciousness
qualities.
come from? Because she definitely has
She
that.
definitely has that viciousness where she, like, we'll get into her and Barry.
Yeah,
but the way she
she's
treats
so
Barry, she's so
clueless.
like just has hard lines and just
But
really.
none of it. The funny part is, I don't see any of it coming from a malicious place. She doesn't even know that she's being mean and really. Oh, it's so just narcissistic of her.
Yeah.
She's all about her.
So anyway, we'll get into it. But
Yeah.
I'm actually glad that they kind of. Well, I mean, I feel like there would be no way to get out of this situation because.
Or they can let her be sued, but obviously
they're
that would
obviously not gonna
inevitably
do that.
end in bad
So
stuff.
the end of this is pretty much Brianna decides to merge with the organics company, and so then they're like an umbrella subsidiary of that company. So we'll see kind of where that goes, and it leads to Brianna getting a job offer that is in San Francisco, which is obviously far away from where they are.
It's 4 hours on a plane.
It's 4 hours.
You know?
No, it's an hour on a plane.
I'm sorry, 4 hours driving.
I was like 4 hours on a plane.
Right, my bad. That would be across the country.
That'd be across.
My bad. Up
no,
the
it's
street.
all good.
It is up the street to
It's
some
up the
degree.
street, yeah.
But
so
I mean, still.
So she gets this offer to not only run Say Grace, but also run some subsidiaries under the parent company. But she goes in, and her and Barry have been kind of on the rocks a little bit because he's been, decided to take guardianship of this future baby
That she wants nothing to do with, but she has to play along with.
And, they had that horrible double date.
Right.
Which was hilarious with the short rib.
Yeah,
so
oh my gosh,
they've been kind of, they've been having
Trying to
an
figure it out.
interesting few episodes. And so she makes this decision without Barry.
Yeah. Because that's what she does.
What do you think of that?
Again, it speaks volumes to who she is as a human being. She considers no one, nothing. I was surprised that she even allowed herself to go have a conversation with her mom and her sister because honestly, when she feels like she's in the right, that's it. There's not really a whole lot of discussion. So in her mind, she's doing Barry a favor by moving forward with solidifying their relationship. Instead of just one shelf, you can have 2 shelves. You can have a whole closet.
Yeah. Because they had the whole moment where, like, HR had to pretty much have them sign forms saying they're in a relationship, but are they married? Are they, like, in a domestic partnership?
Right. What's going on?
There've been all these signs on multiple episodes leading up to this where Brianna doesn't really want to make a call, where she doesn't want to commit.
She doesn't know
She doesn't, and she even had that conversation with Mallory about, like, where she feels like she can't say something positive. She can't say something nice.
Which is so
and
sad.
so, which is really, really, it really upsets me and it makes me sad for her.
Yeah.
Because I want her to love. I want her to, like...
Well, she clearly loves him. She loves her mother. She loves a lot of things. She probably loves her nephews and nieces to some degree.
But not like...
She's not a lovey-dovey person.
Say it out loud.
Yeah, she's not.
She doesn't
not
express it in a way like normal people do.
Yeah, it's not her bag. It's not her steez, and it's worked for her thus far because she keeps people at a distance.
Yeah, and so she's kept Barry at a distance.
Yeah,
and
even though this is her boyfriend.
So they're kind of on the rocks right now, and Barry gets upset. Understandably, he gets very upset and
defensive.
So I'm. What do you think about this?
I think that it makes sense that he would be defensive. Once again, you've made a decision, a life-altering decision, without a discussion with me, let alone a consent from me. You're moving forward thinking that this is somehow going to help us because I get another shelf. You're so delusional. She's delusional, and he knows it. But this is what he fell in love with, you know. And it's almost like he has to. Well, not even almost. You will see later on that he has to make a decision. You know, either shut up and take what you've already known it's going to be, or decide that my greater good means that I can't have you in my life, which is huge. And it speaks volumes to his his willingness to try to make sure that everybody, because he's the opposite, right? He wants everybody to be happy. He's always smiling. He's always got the butt of the jokes, corny or no. He still comes up with them. You know what I mean? He shows up and he's always trying to bridge the gap and all this good stuff. And she literally is the exact opposite. The man walks in the room and she's like, oh, my beta Barry. Who says that? You don't call your man a beta man? He is, but you don't say it to his face.
Yeah, I mean, she has a very like sarcastic humor, very like dry humor.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And she kind of like uses Barry as kind of a puppet.
Kind of her prop.
And so I'm hoping that like she can grow and kind of grow up a little.
I mean, that's a great
In
hope.
order to keep him, she's gonna have to like
do some things.
Step up.
Yeah,
she's gonna have to step up.
I mean, I see therapy in their future, so let's cross fingers about that. For that.
Yeah, let's cross fingers.
Yeah,
I like them. I like them together. They're opposites attract. So.
Yeah, they're super cute.
But
not so much the guy that was dating her sister. I don't like him.
The
Dan, punching the
Dan.
ribs. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah,
needs
we
to
talked
go.
about that last episode.
Oh, Dan needs to
It
go.
was definitely like, do not go on a date with him again.
Ever.
Please do not.
Please.
Ever.
Matter of fact, when he calls, delete. That's how you
just
do that.
Block number.
Exactly.
Anyway, there's also another like side storyline in these few episodes where Robert is trying to save the theater.
Yes, of course.
And
he's a thespian.
He's a thespian. He's been, we've obviously seen him perform in a bunch of shows. But he does it behind Sol's back.
Here we go again.
Where he gives money away.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying
Not just
to do
money.
this.
$20,000. That ain't a little bit of money.
$20,000. That's like
even for rich people. That's something.
That's their, they're retired.
They're retired.
So that's like a huge chunk of money.
Hell yeah.
So what would you do in this situation? How do you feel about this? Are you mad at Robert?
It goes back
how
to
do you
what
feel?
we said. I love that there's a theme here. I love that the writers obviously put forth the effort to have something thematic that runs throughout all of the characters. And in this situation, of course, I would be angry. You know what kills me about all these scenarios, though, and it's perfect for TV because that's why it works, is that the thing happens, right? The arc is initiated, and then instead of just coming clean and saying, you know what, I screwed up. I made a bad choice. Yeah. Let's make it work. Or what are you going to, like, I don't know. What do you want to do now moving forward? They do everything in their power to cover it up. To reverse it. To da-da-da.
Yeah.
There's always this craziness.
It's an ultimate, I mean, that's why it's a comedy.
Right. That is why it's comedic.
It's an ultimate comedy, like, story structure where it wouldn't be funny if they were like, oh, let me tell you exactly what happened and let's solve it together. It's funnier when like Robert is running around trying to do Lyft and driving at like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to make extra money. And it's more funny that way.
It is, isn't it? Laughing right now just thinking about it.
So
it's perfect.
It's so funny because these last, like looking at the themes of these 3 episodes, I believe the theme is communication and like being honest with yourself.
That's right,
and
transparency
with each other. Because literally all the characters have been going through it.
Yep.
Either trying to find themselves, trying to find what they truly want out of life or in their relationships. Yeah. Do you have thoughts on what the themes are?
That is definitely of these three themes. Say that 3 times fast. I love that is the common denominator is the transparency and that they literally do everything in their power to lie to each other, whether it be Grace to Frankie. Because she lied to her, right, about the whole reason with the Shark Tank situation, which we have not gotten to. But y'all seen it, so you know what I'm talking about.
We're all going to get to it.
Right, we get there. There's a lie, obviously. And then what we just spoke about, Sol and Robert lying to each other. Well, Robert lying to Sol, and then Homegirl lying to her man. Or actually, she was honest, but, she just makes really bad decisions that profit her only or are good for her only. So I love it. I love that they are smart enough to kind of connect the dots in every way that has to do with one common thread, and that is transparency. Yeah,
I agree.
I really am into. There's no way. I mean, in any relationship, I think a lot of marriages would dissolve very quickly if these kind of craziness went on every week. It's very I Love Lucy-ish.
It is kind of I Love Lucy-ish.
Right?
We're not sure what Lucy and Ethel are going to do next.
Exactly. I guess that's the point. The writers are probably rolling their eyes at that comment, like, "Duh, we knew that 6 seasons ago, Miss Troy." Okay, my bad.
So,
Miss KaBoom.
Kitty KaBoom. So we have we have so many things happening in these few episodes. Robert's trying to save the theater, and and Sol him are kind of
and then Sol
going
screws
crazy.
that effort.
And
He's
Sol
like, I'll make a
messes
last-ditch
that
effort.
up. Yeah, which
But it was valiant.
Bless his heart, he tried to help and then it backfired.
Right.
So
But in a good way,
So
'cause it helped the other guy.
getting back to, they decide to go audition for Shark Tank, Grace and Frankie.
Right.
But after that, they lose.
They
lose
told
their-
no thank you.
Yeah, they lose their prototype of their
Exactly. Well,
their toilet.
They got told no initially.
Yes.
And they were pretty buzzed. I mean, pretty
bummed about that. Yeah.
The whole ride home was anything but happiness.
Yeah, they have Gracie's dummy or no, Frankie's dummy in the back seat, which
pure
hilarious.
comedy, right? So they screwed that up. So they're like, all right, fine, moving on. Well, let's yell at each other, and then please just get away from me because I need some time alone. Fast forward to them giving another opportunity. Them saying they love the dynamics of the two of them together, and would they come back and still be on the show? So I already knew that was coming. Once they said the name Shark Tank, you were like, oh, okay, we're about to see them. Yeah,
but like
we know TV.
It's so funny. Like I loved one of my favorite moments was when they were like, oh, we lost the prototype.
Right.
Like, do you have the prototype? Do you have it?
Exactly.
And they lose it, and then they have to go on this hunt, and it's pure comedy.
Yeah, of course.
And they find it in this yard with petunias or some flowers in it.
It was a planter.
And it was a planter, and which I think is a really great idea. You could do that with like old toilets, old bathtubs.
That would
perfect.
be so tacky. Don't you dare do that.
Why, if you've got a vintage like bathtub, that'd be cute.
Bathtub, yes. Toilet, not so much.
Okay.
In your front
Maybe
yard?
No.
Well,
yeah, okay. Let us know what you think.
Having done it, it still looked a bit.
Let us know what you guys think. If you would do a bathtub or a toilet in your front yard or backyard,
especially
and put some flowers
if it has claws. Those are
the
old
vintage
school
ones.
Oh,
yeah.
that would be gorgeous.
I love it. So like they had this whole mission finding this toilet,
and Frankie so goofy, and you often think that her claims to know things are just like, here she goes again, but then inevitably it works, and just like, she really does know.
She's so flighty. She acts flighty, but she's smarter than
grounded.
she looks.
Yeah, definitely.
She's grounded. She knows what's up. So. One more big topic is Coyote and Jessica, the new relationship this season.
They're so cute together.
They're so cute. And so Coyote has this conversation with his with Sol about moving to about next steps. Yeah, about like feeling like they want to move forward. So what do you think about this? And then they get on the same page, kind of.
Yeah. Well, he asks his father what he thinks about it after the big brouhaha, having to tell his brother that he might actually be in love with the person that he claims broke his heart. So I'm saying a lot of he's. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Sol's not involved.
No.
I'm talking about Coyote and his brother Bud and the young lady Jessica.
Yes.
And I like the fact that Jessica really does. I think she adds a dimension to Bud that we have not seen thus far.
She brings out really great qualities in Bud.
Exactly.
She makes him feel and act grounded.
Yes.
I mean, he's grown so much the last few seasons.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a playfulness about him that I feel like we haven't seen.
Well, the playfulness
and a genuine want to do better.
Yeah. The playfulness in the past, in my opinion, has always been because he's a goofy, right? Like, he likes being goofy. He makes fun of himself, self-deprecating humor a lot.
Goofy with him, and so it's
but the goofiness
match.
Also is elevated. It's not just goofy for the sake of being goofy. Like, look at this, I put it on my head, I'm the clown. It's more like, I'm going to have a quick-witted response to yours, and it's going to be this playful banter, and that is adorable. And she clearly gets him, and she has a huge jokes. She has lots of jokes of her own to add to the storyline.
There was the whole brunch they had with the strawberries, and where she was like, "Oh, these strawberries from the airport must be really, really good."
Right, I can't wait.
Can't wait. And so she's just, and then they got on the same page where they shared that she wants marriage and he wants to move in together, which was so cute.
That was adorable,
and I love it. And then they did it again, and then it was opposite.
Yes,
and so
but the best part was his face. I really wanted to have a snapshot of that because I looked at him for his response to her response. I don't think, well, obviously, he did not expect that. So to hear her say the step after the step that he's trying to take, it just melted his whole face. He was just like,
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
It was like his dreams came true.
Yes, all at one time. It was kismet.
Totally.
It was adorable.
So this has been an incredible few episodes.
Yes.
We have so much more coming down the way.
We do.
Kittie, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm all over Instagram. Find me on IG, baby. My name is Kittie KaBoom, KittieKaboom.
Awesome. And you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller. Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
for
it
the
was a
Grace and
blast.
Frankie After Show. We are going to be covering episode 12 and 13, the big season finale, coming up next.
Don't go
Thanks,
nowhere.
guys.
We'll be back.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.